So everyone's looking for Mr. or Mrs. Right, even senior citizens, but romance fraud robs Americans of more than $80 million each year. It's a big problem that the AARP is trying to make you aware of, especially this month, as June is Elder Abuse Awareness Month. Joining us here today with some ways you can protect yourself from online dating fraud is Nora Duncan, the AARP State Director, and Jonathan Harris, the Commissioner of the CT Department of Consumer Protection. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having us.
I guess I didn't realize this was such a problem, but it certainly is if it's costing people so much money every year.
Yeah,
right?
it's huge, actually. You know, there are a lot of frauds out there, but this, we believe, is one of the most pervasive and also one of the most underreported. And the cost per victim is really high. It's estimated that last year it was about $14,000 per person by the scam.
So how's it happening? They're logging onto websites, or what's typically the plan here?
Yeah, well, you know, we all know that there are some really large dating sites, and, you know, folks go on because they're looking for love. But, you know, there are some places where people are more likely to be victimized by scam artists.
Sure.
And we're finding that the older adults who are on these sites, especially people who are recently single, recently widowed,
Sure.
people who have some disabilities or maybe more socially isolated.
Are they getting taken advantage of?
They're getting taken advantage of. You know, we at AARP, our magazine, recently had an article where we interviewed a former romance scammer, someone who is helping identify scammers now and helping, you know, law enforcement. He's actually a Nigerian man, and what he said is that a lonely heart is a vulnerable heart.
Yeah,
So we're
I guess
all
that's
vulnerable
true.
if we go online and date to some degree,
Right.
but some of us are just more so than others. That's what we're finding.
So Nora, what are the telltale signs that something isn't right? What should we be looking for?
So the person that you are talking to, the profile that you found an interest in,
Yes.
that person immediately wants to leave the dating chat site
Okay.
and go to a personal means of communication. So they ask for your cell phone number so they can text, or they want your email address. Okay, so that's an immediate thing. That's a telltale sign.
Okay.
Maybe the photo is a little glamorous. You know, maybe the person looks a little too good to be true. The person falls in love head over heels
Quickly,
quickly,
right?
really
That's-
quickly.
It doesn't really work
again,
that way.
Too good to be true, right? Yeah, it has a tendency not to really work that way. Or, you know, the person, you just can't get them on the phone. You can't get them on the phone to talk. There may be the person says they're American, but
Yeah.
you're noticing in the writing that it doesn't look sort of like traditional American vernacular.
Okay.
English, but not sort of American, right?
makes sense.
The person, well, of course, if the person keeps saying they'll meet you and then has to cancel at the last
Over and
minute,
over again.
over and over because
Nobody
of
wants
something.
that to begin with,
Nobody
right?
wants that to begin with, but if it keeps happening, and a lot of times with some dramatic story behind it. And of course,
okay.
if someone asks you for money, which is why we're here, because people are being ripped off, would you normally give money to someone you had never met in person?
Probably not, but I see how it could happen. You get to know this person, you
Yeah.
become friendly, you might fall in love, and
Yeah.
then
I mean, they
there
don't
you
ask
go,
on
you
day
hand
two.
over your money.
They don't ask you on day 2 for money. They go through a
a
process.
process, sure.
And,
Reel you in.
You know, they reel you in, especially if you're being asked to wire the money to a third party. That's a really good sign that
Okay.
something is terribly wrong.
So, Commissioner, what do we do if this is happening to us and you need to contact somebody?
Yeah, well, actually, before you do that, just be cautious, you know, and proceed very slowly. Think about it. Never give out your last name, where you work, your address. If you're using an app, turn off the location settings.
Sure.
Check out social media, make sure it's consistent what they're saying in one place versus another. Check their image. A lot of people steal images, stock photos. Famous people are used as like, this is who you're going to date. Check that out using the Google image search. And, you know, when in doubt, get out. If it's too good to be true, like Nora said, stop it and immediately contact the dating service, contact your state and local police, file a report, file a complaint with the Department of Consumer Protection at dcp.frauds@ct.gov, and notify the FBI at ic3.gov.
There's a lot of ongoing problems. I'm assuming a lot of investigations going on with this.
There's a lot of activity, so there's a lot of people looking into this. But people, like any fraud, consumers have to be smart, not yield to high pressure, not yield to their just their heartstrings. Heartstrings are great, but don't yield to that. Don't give out money and unnecessary information, and just think.
Great. And of course, AARP has some resources as well.
Yeah, AARP actually is working to try to get the largest dating sites to employ some techniques that are going to help reduce these scams. So we are asking the dating sites to do a couple of things. One is to use algorithms, which can help actually weed out what these scam profiles look like. There are some commonalities, some language, some photos that can be identified. These algorithms aren't that difficult to come up with. Then we're asking them to look across multiple sites, so for one dating site to look at another dating site and help each other pull these scam profiles offline. And then if someone has been in contact, one of their members has been in contact with one of these profiles, to let them know. Because if they're offline chatting, via email or via text message,
they're getting deeper into
it, right?
Deeper.
We want to help them prevent scams or identify them if they've already happened, so that there can be some criminal prosecution. And then just take some simple steps to educate members about what it looks like. And I would say, if people want to help us get this done, we have a website that has a petition on it that we're going to send to everyone. Just go to AARP.org/romance scams and sign our petition.
That's what we'll do. Nora, thanks so much for being here. Commissioner Harris, nice to see you.
Thank you.
And some good advice here. Of course, we'll have info on our website as well. You can visit AARP.org/fraudwatchnetwork. And Ryan, still to come, we'll send it back to you.